Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of HNN News. I'm Connor Anglin.
And I'm Maddie Jensen.
It's midwinter, which means we're right in the middle of snow day season. But this year, snow days look a little different.
Instead of relaxing a day at home, Pillager students are spending snow days with their Chromebooks. It's called e-learning and is quickly replacing the traditional snow day. Trey Abersol has more.
E-learning days have become a real part of school now that COVID has hit, and now we're making snow days a part of the past. Let's see what some staff think.
I definitely believe e-learning should be an option, and then sometimes we do have to cancel school and we do have to make up those days, depending on how much notice we get before it happens. And like I said, it depends on, for high school students especially, it depends on how well they're utilizing that time, how many kids we have showing up when we do have an e-learning day. Because if those numbers are not high, then we need to look at canceling and rescheduling.
We have heard that some staff are favoring e-learning. Let's see what some students think.
I'm going to be honest, the whole e-learning thing is kind of garbage. Because, when you have e-learning, right, the whole point is that you sit in your bed, you're crying in your bed, and you're tapping away on your computer. And that's not fun. That's not interesting. When you're in a classroom environment, it's proper fun. You can write down whatever you're doing. You can doodle on some paper. You can do whatever you want. But the problem with e-learning is that there's way too many distractions around. Because when you're e-learning, you can either be playing on a computer, you could be playing on your phone. There's a ton of distractions around you, and it's hard to get work done.
Well, I prefer it to go into school, but if it were to take the place of, say, a snow day when there wouldn't be school and we'd just be able to enjoy the day off, I don't quite like e-learning days. It's nice that we can get the schoolwork done, but having that day off would be really nice.
Because we live in Minnesota, e-learning days are probably going to stick around for a while, and it doesn't matter if we like it or not, we have to do it anyway. My name is Trey Abersol for HNN.
Thank you, Trey. You may have recently seen some fellow students carrying babies around the school. It's all part of Pillager High School's commitment to offering a number of electives to each semester in a wide array of topics.
The babies come from a class called Child Development. Natalie Kramer tells us more.
In Pillager High School, hands-on experience is very important. One of the classes that uses this approach is Child Development.
As part of the Family and Consumer Science Child Development class, it includes an experience of taking care of a baby. So we have a simulator that we call the Real Care Babies, and we actually put that into place 3 years ago. Some of the benefits with the Real Care Babies include it is a simulated real-life experience where the baby has different needs, and the student has to figure out what need the baby actually is crying about, if it needs food or if it needs a diaper change, maybe it just needs burped or held and rocked. So it's kind of like a troubleshooting experience which really simulates real life with care of babies. So I would say that is definitely a positive benefit to having the Real Care Babies. Students have to get up at any hour of the night to care for those babies. They come to school usually very tired the next day.
It's a simulated experience that students seem to appreciate.
I like the class because it has taught me a lot about children. Before I got into this class, I was not so sure on the whole idea of kids, but now that I've been through the class, it just has changed my perspective completely. I absolutely adore children, and I'm really hoping to be a mother when I'm older. For 24 hours, I had to carry around a robot baby. Now, this baby, it was an interesting thing. It would cry for 4 reasons. It would either need to be rocked, changed, burped, or fed.
I'm Natalie Kramer for HNN News.
The CTC Center is a busy place these days as the One Act Play prepares for the competition later this month.
This year's play is called Appropriate Audience Behavior, and Corbin Brown tells us all about it.
Within Pillager High School, there's many after-school activities you can do, like football or basketball or One Act as well. Today, we see why people joined One Act and why you should too.
I think it's really fun. I've competed in One Act since freshman year here at Pillager, so I've been in it for a few years. Sadly, this is going to be my last year. It's really fun. We get to travel, get to meet a lot of different people, typically that you don't usually talk to, especially you get to talk with people from other grades and stuff, so that's really fun. Get to make new connections.
One Act's pretty fun. I gotta be honest, I've only been here, this is my first year taking place in One Act, but overall I find it fun. The people I work with are pretty interesting. It makes it the whole experience a lot better, and I gotta be honest, I'm really enjoying it so far. I can't wait till we actually perform our play live and, you know, make some people laugh.
I enjoy drama. When I was in high school, I was part of a play, and I wish I'd gotten started a little sooner, and I just thought it would be a great opportunity to dive back in.
The biggest issue people have while in One Act is that not enough people join or too many people leave. So today, we see why more people should join and why it is helpful.
Oh yes, I definitely do. It's something that helps for kids like me express themselves and do things that otherwise you wouldn't do. Like, I have terrible anxiety, and other than acting, performing in musicals and the One Act, you're not going to catch me on stage doing anything. This is where I truly get out of my comfort zone and really just put my anxiety aside and just be someone I'm not, and it's really special to me.
I think a lot of students should. Like I said, it helps build character, it helps personalize yourself and get you out there. It helps with anxiety if you have stage fright or just a lot of, you know, anxiety in general. It really helps with fixing that. I know myself, I have a lot of anxiety, and personally I've never felt better.
This was HNN News. I'm Corbin Brown.
Thank you, Corbin. The public performance of this year's One Act will be Monday, January 23rd at 7:30 p.m. in the CTC Center.
Turning into sports, Pillager High School has dozens of athletes competing in a wide variety of varsity sports throughout the year, but one varsity sport you won't see here is wrestling. We sent Vincent Burrows out to try and find out why and if wrestling will ever return to Pillager.
Pillager High School has a wide variety of extracurricular activity, but the one basic activity we do not offer at the varsity level is wrestling.
Well, I just think in a school our size that we need a little more options. I know we combine with Little Falls for wrestling and Brainerd for hockey, or Little Falls for wrestling and dance and gymnastics, but just having more things here available for Pillager kids would create more participation, and I think that'd go a long way for school morale and things like that.
So there's a lot of students who are walking the hallways who would be a great candidate to be a wrestler here. There's a lot of athletes in the weight room that could be great wrestlers. There's even a lot of athletes on the basketball team right now who would make a better wrestler and be very successful at it, but instead they're playing basketball because that's their only option as athletics in the winter.
Pillager does have a wrestling program for grades 3 through 6.
We have about 25 kids out for it right now. We have had 2 weeks worth of practice with the practices canceled last week. And there's some little wrestlers coming up that are going to be great athletes. They love the sport. They love to compete. They are good at it.
The plan is moving forward in the next 2 years that we would hopefully be able to offer a junior high program, and then eventually just continue to build it up where we would have a varsity program here at Pillager.
Pillager High School athletes would benefit from a wrestling team.
Grew up wrestling. I wrestled from kindergarten up through my senior year. I've been around it my whole life. I've coached at 2 different high schools. My brother wrestled in college. I have a bunch of friends that wrestled in college. And wrestling is a unique sport where it's just you and the other person out there. So if you lose, it's your fault. If you win, it's your fault. You have power over your own destiny in that sport. It's not reliant on teammates. It's never anyone else's fault if you get beat. And just that mentality of I need to take responsibility for my actions is pretty unique in the realm of sports, where like you learn a lot of stuff about like who you are. You learn how to handle adversity. You learn how to handle losing. You learn how to come back from a loss and grow as a person to just figure out how to bounce back.
Well, the hope is for the youth wrestling program to keep being successful, and hopefully we can get a varsity wrestling team. I'm Vincent Burrows, HNN News.
Thank you, Vincent. Well, Connor, we're almost halfway through another year, and pretty soon we'll start talking about spring.
And one of the holidays of spring is prom, but planning for a successful prom starts months before the big event. Andrew Hoffman tells us what it takes to organize a great prom.
Hey, I'm Andrew Hoffman, and today I'm here with Miss Johnson. We're going to be discussing prom. As you know, it's in April, and that can be coming up quite quickly, as some of us aren't paying attention to the time, like myself. So, a couple questions. What's it like setting up for prom, as this is your first year and you may not know a lot?
Yes, this is my first year. However, I have supervised lots of proms before. Setting up seems like it's going to be a lot of work over a few days, and taking down is going to be a lot of work, but it is all worth it in the end.
Sounds good. Yeah. What can us students do to help you? I know a lot of students are always antsy about prom, and we always want to help if we can.
Yes, I would love anybody to email me that is willing to help out either the day before, the day of, the night of, to take down, to set up, that kind of stuff. Any prom themes, any prom ideas, any of that is super helpful for me because we have a lot to figure out in the meantime.
Mm-hmm. And what can we be expecting to see for prom? Any specific themes you have in mind, or?
It's a secret for now, but I hope to have candy and fun things to do, like maybe some games on the side, maybe some outside games, some inside games, and we're pretty much open to try any new thing that you can think of that will fit in our budget.
First off, I want to ask, where do you think prom will be located this year?
So we haven't actually made that decision. We've got a few options. Of course, the school is one. We've got the nice CTC Center where we could do Grand March. But there's also a couple of other locations, and we haven't narrowed it down, so I'm not going to give too many spoilers yet.
That's all right. Second off, what's it like setting up for prom? I can imagine it's be very stressful, as you could have no idea what you're doing, or you could have all the idea for sure.
So this is our first year setting up for prom, our first year being advisors, and so it is a little bit scary and nervous, makes us a little bit nervous because we've never done this before and we want to do it really well. But we're also pretty excited about it because we get to throw a huge party for lots of kids to have fun at, and it is really exciting to have that opportunity.
And as two people, I can imagine this could be pretty difficult just setting up for yourself. So what can us students do to help you out?
So as for students, I know Ms. Johnson has sent out a survey, and I feel like we may end up sending out one more as we get a little bit closer to prom. But the other thing we're going to be looking at as we draw closer and closer to April is a prom planning committee. So it's not just up to me and Ms. Johnson to decide on what prom is going to be like. We're going to be looking for some students to take a more active role. So when the time comes and we're looking for those members, if you're interested in helping out and having a little more say over what prom is like this year, we would love to see some volunteers come out and give us a hand on that.
So first off, what do you plan on doing during prom?
Honestly, I might just sit back, relax, and not even worry about it, or I might go. No idea yet.
Same here.
Yes, sir.
So, second off, what's your idea of a perfect prom? What would you say would describe perfect prom for you?
Man, let me tell you, that's a hard thing to think about because there's no such thing as a perfect prom. There's nothing perfect, you know.
Sure. Yeah. All right, you heard it here first, folks. Cheeseburger!
I couldn't agree more, Joey. Thank you, Andrew. And remember, it's never too early to ask that special someone to prom.
Well, good luck with that, Connor. That'll do for this edition of HNN News. I'm Maddie Jensen.
And I'm Connor Anglin. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.